Part 95. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 947. Chapter 947 Revolving Heaven's Demon Suppressing Method. I will try this primal chaos Scion Ox Great Treasure Corner. Seeing green-robed old man succeeded in the immortal tears little pot, Wei Suo's eyes first gathered in primal chaos Scion Ox Great Treasure Corner. This time alone, all spirit rank and spirit rank below the shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art, plus the cultivator itself spiritual stones and Wei Suo can be used for something that is estimated to be up to 50 million low-grade spiritual. If this stone's chi primal and chaos ox great science said in the general astonishing words, that he collected the resources to scrape, so that he can directly break through to divine mystic second layer also not necessarily. Laugh. Between the talks, Wei Suo didn't hesitate, a strong true Yuan and water spirit chi, and rushed to the corner of primal chaos Scion Ox great treasure, pulling out a hint of Scion's spiritual chi. Now his real extreme Dao immortal armament is in hand. The higher the cultivation base, the better the divine might of the great treasure. If it is to divine mystic second layer, with the immortal tears little pot, it should be the cultivator of Wangwei. I can't help him at all, so upgrading the cultivation base is, in his opinion, the most important thing at the moment. This is a trace of Scion's spiritual chi, which was swallowed directly by a water god phantom from the top of Wei Suo. But almost at the same time, Wei Suo's naked body shocked, as if it had been violently tapped by the invisible hammer. The silver divine splendor was violent, and more than 10,000 squats were opened. Many of the origin chi and water spirit chi in the naked body were shocked. What happened? This kind of reaction made green-robed old man and Ling Longtian unexpected, and they were all surprised by great treasure. I did it, and I almost got my life. No wonder Yuhuaruoxing is still not needed, saying that it is necessary to have several golden core second layer help to refining Wei Suo depressed roll one's eyes. This is the origin chi of the primal chaos Scion Ox great treasure corner. It turns out that manifestation has some unique shapeshift great art power, almost half divine mark. It's just that the hair of this hair, the thickness of the original chi, is shocked when he is involved in the refining of the naked body. It is almost the same as the divine might shock when he showed his life and death. In fact, among the origin chi, manifestation has the power of such a strong great treasure? It seems that this pair of primal chaos Scion Ox great treasure has existed at least in ancient times. If it exists for a long time, it may evolve into an ordinary to immortal artifact. After Wei Suo explained a few words, Ling Longtian and green-robed old man also couldn't help but look at primal chaos Scion Ox great treasure. These two well-known old antiques are very clear. Some of them gather the amazing spiritual chi's heavenly herb. After a long period of time, the unique shapeshift great art will naturally evolve because of the amazing spiritual chi changes. The domain, and finally falling into the hands of the cultivator, will become the real immortal armament that can make the giant great treasure divine might. But this is the same as the primal chaos Scion Ox great treasure corner and the flat ruler in the magnetic essence mountain. Otherwise, the origin chi is completely changed, and it will become a part of the world. At that time, the cultivator can only use it at most. Immortal armament, and there is no shapeshift great art refining which is used by origin chi to improve the cultivation base. It seems that you should be careful when refining, otherwise it is really going to be directly shattered. After rolling one's eyes, Wei Suo carefully felt the original zero of chaos Scion Ox great treasure. Kid, how, the drug is not amazing, green-robed old man. As soon as Wei Suo's eyes flashed, he knew how much he had in the naked body, and he couldn't help but ask, in his opinion, this pair of primal chaos Scion Ox great treasure is a pair of spiritual herbs, so he directly asks how much is the potency. This is estimated to be almost a level 4 low-grade water attribute monster core. I don't know how many wires of the two great treasures can be pulled out. Origin chi comes out. Wei Suo swallowed his saliva, obviously very surprised. The thickness of this hair is equivalent to a level 4 low-grade water attribute monster core. Green-robed old man suddenly took a breath of air. That's probably more than 2 divine phoenix stone pellets potions. So much, Ling Longtian's brows couldn't help but jump and gave her a feeling. Only a trace of origin chi that was extracted just seemed to be just a glimpse of the hair. A primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure can extract a surprising amount of origin chi. Sell this pair of primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure corners and all of your unused spirit ranks below to buy the water attribute monster core and the spiritual herb, and I'm sure you can break through to divine mystic second layer. Boy, you shouldn't want to try to refining this kind of thing. Green-robed old man saw Wei Suo's gaze shifting to the black old antique, which has broken into a few pieces of color-mottled monster core. I can't help but say, these things are very strange to me, like spirit pellet. After Wei Suo said this, an origin chi and water spiritual chi also washed up on one of the smallest broken monster cores. Hong! Immediately, a rolling origin chi was washed out and poured into Wei Suo's naked body. Immediately, Wei Suo's was like opening more than 10,000 great treasures, constantly vomiting and vomiting. Is it really like spirit pellet? Green-robed old man and Ling Longtian face each other, although both of them feel that there is a lot of unfavorable impurities in the origin chi of the mottled monster core, but the two also feel it, and the amount of useful origin chi by Wei Suo refining also amazing. Wei Suo couldn't help but breathe in, and the look of surprise came out in his eyes. This monster core, left by the old devil, is really like a spirit pellet. It can be directly refining. Although the origin chi has been lost by ancient emperor corpse, the remaining useful is origin chi. I'm afraid it's still much stronger than a divine phoenix stone pellet. This divine mystic level's black hair old devil gave him a surprise for great treasure. In the wild, there is still this kind of integration with the cultivator golden core. The monster core of manifestation is directly like the monster beast of spirit pellet. Maybe the divine mystic great treasure can seal these two monster beasts, that is, you want to keep it for yourself. Both green-robed old man and Ling Longtian come up with the idea that this monster beast has two people's insights and has never heard of it. This thing does not know whether or not can be used to cultivate spiritual herb, do not know if there will be any unique effect of Wei Suo. Feel the fragmentation monster core origin chi will continue to be lost, so simply continuous display water emperor sun swallowing secrets, constantly scouring all the fragmentation monster core, non-stop refining, absorbing origin chi cultivation. At the same time he will be from the ancient spirit devouring beast. The strange green crystal that was taken out of naked body was also collected. After that, Wei Suo took out the bodies of the ancient spirit devouring beast and the old black devil and checked it again. The origin chi powerful energy in the ancient monster beast of these two divine mystic levels is extremely powerful. Many parts of the body contain their unique origin chi powerful energy. Especially the black hair old devil has no trace of cultivator. A black-skinned skin is even more amazing than the skin and bones of the ancient spirit devouring beast. The skin of the ancient spirit devouring beast and some bones are estimated to be refined from the half-immortal level's shapeshift great art great treasure, which is estimated to be refined and powerful. One level, something close to immortal artifact. After studying with green-robed old man and Ling Longtian for a while, the three decided to refine the skin of ancient spirit devouring beast and old devil into shapeshift great art, some bones in the ancient spirit devouring beast naked body. Made offensive shapeshift great art great treasure. If these things are refining, plus the great treasure quantity that my ISU got in Samsara Tower this time, the shapeshift great art great treasure, this time, Jia and Shui Ling the shapeshift great art great treasure and shapeshift great art, can improve a grade again. After sorting out the things on hand, Wei Suo took out two more notes. God King Crazy Fight Secret Art. Revolving Heavens Demon Suppressing Method. Among the two notes, the record is on the Grey Jade platform. The Divine Mystic Great Treasure can leave a copy of Shapeshift Great Art and a Surgery Shapeshift Great Art for fear of forgetting, So Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, when you leave Samsara Tower, you will record the remembered scripture and catalog first. While continuing to refining the singular monster core cultivation of Old Devil, Wei Suo is acquainted with this work, Shapeshift Great Art and a Shapeshift Great Art. Life Essence turned into a, sure enough, it is the melee class of Shapeshift Great Art, Shapeshift Great Art Domain Suppression. This is also a supreme strong Shapeshift Great Art. Soon, Wei Suo's face showed another shocked look. God King Crazy Fight Secret Art is an extremely strange supreme True Yuan Gong Shapeshift Great Art. The True Yuan of Shapeshift Great Art cultivation is actually blended with Qi and blood. True Yuan and Qi and blood are actually melding. For a naked body, equivalent to when there is only such a True Yuan flowing in the naked body and against the enemy, the cultivation of the Shapeshift Great Art cultivator can cover True Yuan and can be formed on the body. True Yuan Great Treasure A and a Mad War Axe, and look at scripture's annotations. This God King Crazy Fight Secret Art can instantly burst out more than usual when it comes to True Yuan Great Treasure A and Axe. Battle Strength. This work Shapeshift Great Art, Equito to is True Yuan and melee class Shapeshift Great Art is a naked body, close-knit. The Revolving Heavens Demon Suppressing Method is a rare supreme secret place Shapeshift Great Art that can be used to play a divine might. Just the Great Treasure can see the meaning of these two ancient scriptures. Wei Suo can imagine that the divine mystic Great Treasure can be used in the scene of the enemy. The Revolving Heavens Demon Suppressing Method will confine the opponent to avoid, and then wrap Supreme Great Treasure A, holding a heaven-shaking Mad War Axe, deceiving each other, axe, killing each other. With Wei Suo's current cultivation base, it is naturally not suitable for Shapeshift Great Art recultivation, and then for the God King Crazy Fight Secret Art. After all, see God King Crazy Fight Secret Art's annotation, this True Yuan Gong Shapeshift Great Art still has a lot restriction. Consumption of True Yuan is like consuming Qi and blood. If True Yuan loses too much, there will be danger of corruption. But this work, Shapeshift Great Art, is very suitable for Yes Yaozhang cultivation, because Yes Yaozhang said to Wei Suo before, he really wants this kind of close combat, Shapeshift Great Art and Shapeshift Great Art. As for the Revolving Heavens Demon Suppressing Method, Wei Suo is available, so he didn't carefully understand God King's mad battle of Shapeshift Great Art, but fully realized the Revolving Heavens Demon Suppressing Method. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 948. Chapter 948 is moving forward step by step. A yellow-faced man hurried into a secret place with a scorpion sedivine light screen shrouded in the dwelling. This secret place residence is just a separate 3-story pavilion carved by mysterious ice, with an open space in front. Primary after the yellow-faced man entered the secret place, he immediately spoke. It seemed to be to report to the people in the pavilion, but he spoke out a word, sound sounded softly, and his whole person was suddenly wrapped in a group of pale yellow say crystal light, and he couldn't move any more. The crystal light of his pale yellow say, but formed a pale yellow crystal clear lotus hua. Ka. This crystal-like lotus hua that sealed him inside was immediately shattered and disappeared without a trace. Ah! The mouth of the yellow-faced man was closed, and he was afraid to send a surging sound. You don't have to shout anything, just Dao technique fa is what I try, no harm. A surging sound came from the pavilion, and then a flash of light. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian appeared in the doorway of the pavilion. Master, your divine ability is incredible. After the mouth of the yellow-faced man was combined, he immediately took a flattering. Well, you are so rushed to come back, is there any news? Wei Suo suddenly rolled one's eyes and looked at the yellow-faced man. It turned out that this yellow-faced man was Long Muxing, Huangpu Tianxi, and Huangpu Yuji of Huangpu aristocratic family had been abandoned after he had revoked the cultivation base, but Long Muxing knew too much. Wei Suo originally wanted to the person takes it back to Cloud Spirit Continent and waits for his cultivation base to have the greatest treasure upgrade before releasing it. Green-robed old man is too troublesome to look at this matter. but it doesn't matter if it is directly shaved, but Wei Suo thinks that this Jian is very reputable, saying that Sha is going to Sha, saying that he wants to put it. It is said that it will be done. But what Wei Suo didn't expect was that Long Muxing, who heard the rumors on the way and knew what had happened, actually cried and shouted to be Wei Suo, and he said that Wei Suo will definitely be in the future. There are amazing achievements, and I am sure to follow him. Surely great treasure has a good secret place. Originally Wei Suo is not want to be so timid, afraid si of the guy follow his own. He knew Long Muxing si life to recognize oneself as master, reconciled to do his servant also has a most crucial reason, is because this ancient emperor's she set off heaven shaking wind wave, and ancient emperor's she is a few of them go to the sky Xian great treasure Luna, then only he left a person safe return, certainly also have no good end. But Long Muxing himself are willing to give golden core, let Wei Suo plant more powerful Jin system, as long as he betrayed Wei Suo a heart read he will bay a naked body and Wang, think of anyway more than one golden core second layer's younger brother is not a bad thing, nothing to let this person doesn't chores, then back to the desert island Dongfu, let this person run to or to stay in a desert island Dongfu guarding the Fa matrix and so is also good, so Wei Suo or accept the timid si. Scared guy. At the moment, Wei Suo didn't let the guy show up too much to avoid being noticed. He just let him go out and pay attention to the bulletin board in the city, and listen to the news of other people's intercourse along the way. Master, you are a great idea at this time Long Muxing can say really to Wei Suo's heart collapsed, he is already know the real immortal artifact fall in Wei Suo's hand, Wei Suo's divine ability has led him by heart superior force, and just Wei Suo cast the Dao technique Fa, is also simply let him have no power to fight back, was sealed in the inside even move cannot move, certainly is what supreme secret place Fa. After taking this flattering again, Long Muxing said quickly, Master, the god secret place Hua clothing young man was discovered, just today in the Xianbing Chen was chased Sha, is said to be a few by the great cold palace the old antique was wounded with a heritage Fa smashing device and then fled. Now many people have rushed to the vicinity of Xianbing Chen, want to search for the trace of this person. Xianbing City? We can get there within a glimpse, and look at it in the past. After looking at Ling Longtian, Wei Suo said the sentence, and at the same time reached out and pointed out a quaint copper bell. You are doing a good job. This is a part of the Great Cold Palace mystic rank middle grade Fa great treasure, for you, but don't use it during the period of the great treasure Janai copper bell. This is one of the great Fa great treasures of the Great Cold Palace. Thank you Master for your reward. Long Muxing saw Wei Suo's copper bell in front of him, and suddenly he stumbled, and then the great treasure was overjoyed and thanked. The Fa great treasure of mystic rank middle grade is already a must for his level of cultivator, and he really feels that following Wei Suo is really a great place for great treasure. Master, but Wei Suo's action made Long Muxing live again. At this time, Wei Suo took a watery Hua light from his hands and pressed it to his face, but it became the appearance of Ji Yin God Lord. Even the breath was similar to 89 points, and then Wei Suo took it out again. A black ash se robe was worn on the body. So if Long Muxing Qin saw Wei Suo he would definitely think that Ji Yin God Lord, who was dragging his life, stood in front of his own eyes. Damn swindler, you want to plant a blame. As soon as Wei Suo was dressed as a Ji Yin God Lord, Ling Longtian knew what he wanted to do and screamed the Sijian's old deist, if you don't plant anything to do with it, it's too cheap for him. Wei Suo thought that Ji Yin God Lord was running faster than Zhe, and it was not very beautiful. If Lei Qi Divine Lord is trying to make the strongest blow with his own degeneration, his life is dangerous. Let's go. After dressing up as a Ji Yin God Lord, Wei Suo no longer has any stops, directly escape light, with Ling Longtian and Long Muxing plunging into the sky, then directly applying Water Emperor to smash the Black Scorpion Mold Devil's monster core to cultivate. The origin chi in these broken monster cores is amazing, but there are a lot of unfavorable impurities. The great treasure, origin chi ton, spits out, but it is a thick ses outside the three people. It is very difficult for outsiders to see the truth and reality. Only one share of divine mystic origin chi's unique majestic pressure is revealed from this group of miscellaneous mist. Puff. After a full hour, several pieces of fragmented monster core were completely refining, and the last piece was completely decomposed and turned into a colorful one. Like the miasma group, origin chi, it was completely refining by Wei Suo. Let me take a half step, it is not bad. Steel Teeth younger sister, you take us to fly, I continue to cultivate with primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure. After a moment of careful feeling, Wei Suo took a primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure and wrapped it in a group of origin chi, not revealing it, and said to Ling Longtian sound transmission. The effect of Black Mold Devil Monster Core is still on top of his expectation, since the last refining of the great treasure garden of the things and of the collection water by monster and spiritual Yao, the ascension of a part of cultivation base, Wei Suo heart naturally to divine mystic first layer to divine mystic second the layer between the 10 steps, the last refini ng so many things, but also just equivalent to a step, this black mold devil monster core, but also let him out of the half step, also at least equivalent to tens of thousands of ordinary water attribute monster core and spirit pellets effectiveness. Now Wei Suo wants to finish the remaining half of the second step before going to Xianbing Cheng, so there are only 8 steps left for divine mystic second layer on the great treasure, so that he can also have some sense of accomplishment and feel divine mystic second layer is not in the foreseeable future. Only the prime chi of the prime chaos Cyan Ox great treasure corner is full of great power of great treasure. Every time you pick up a bunch of origin chi refining, it is equito to be hit by mystic rank Fa, so on the way to the next to cultivation, he also did not do Fa, and he could only rely on Ling Longtian. After Ling Longtian took a surging sound, he didn't say much, and issued a purple seas cape light, rolled up Wei Suo and Long Muxing to continue at a very fast speed, and she also had a ka-cha from time to time. 1 or 2 essence metal. This time she also got a lot of good secret places. It is estimated that the essence metal can let her to cultivate for a long time, the strength will certainly improve a grade. Boom. 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 Every chi in the primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure corner is drawn out. When refining, Wei Suo's body is stunned by the naked body, origin chi is cooking, and the speed is amazing purple seas cape light, if there is a great the treasure drum keeps ringing. This primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure corner is so amazing. And after a long time, Wei Suo's face appeared shocked and surprised intercourse entangled God se. The primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure's powerful energy shock makes him very uncomfortable, but the Priman Chaos Cyan Ox Great Treasure Corner's origin chi and the Black Mold Devil Monster Core's origin chi are also very easy to refining. This 1 hour refining down, has let him go through the remaining half steps, from the Divine Mystic first layer to the Divine Mystic second layer, a full cultivation base. But this is only the Priman Chaos Cyan Ox Great Treasure Corner, origin chi, it is not how much it consumes. In other words, the origin chi of Primal Chaos Cyan Ox Great Treasure is much more amazing than the initial expectations of Wei Suo and Ling Longtian and Green-Robed Old Man. In other words, some of the legendary records are simply wrong. This era is extremely ancient. Even in the Primal Chaos Cyan Ox Great Treasure Corner, which has formed its own unique Fa domain power, origin chi, there are more than a few divine phoenix stone pellets Yao force. After Wei Suo broke through to Divine Mystic, it was truly a bottomless pit. According to his last experience, from the Divine Mystic first layer to the second layer, 1 step in the cultivation base, the required origin chi is almost the same. 4 more foes of Divine Phoenix Stone Pellet. Now this half step, at least to the 2 Yao forces of Divine Phoenix Stone Pellet. And now in this Primal Chaos Cyan Ox Great Treasure Corner, there seems to be a great treasure semi-origin chi, giving Wei Suo's feeling, a primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure in his hand, I am afraid to be equivalent to 10 divine phoenix stone pellets Yao force. In this way, the pair of primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure, I am afraid at least let him from divine mystic first layer to divine mystic second layer, and then take 4 steps. So when he goes to divine mystic second layer, there is only the last 40% cultivation base to be upgraded. The result of this judgment makes Wei Suo shock somewhat unbelievable. He suddenly continued to refining the primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure. After a long time, Wei Suo stopped and couldn't help but feel deeply sighed and tried to calm his mind. This one time to cultivate, he went on the road from divine mystic first layer to divine mystic second layer, and walked out half a step. It is true that there is nothing wrong with this primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure in his origin chi package. At least half of the origin chi remains in the corner. Xuanhuan if I can completely refining these 2 primal chaos Cyan Ox great treasure horns, I am afraid I will at least directly break through the cultivation base of the divine mystic second layer late stage, but this thing is still in my hands. Wei Suo took a deep breath and flashed his thoughts in his mind. At the end of his line of sight, he had already revealed the shadow of a great treasure city, and Xian Bingchen was coming. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 949. Chapter 949 Flowing Fire Continent Great Treasure Can. You don't want to think about when this is the time. Would you like to persuade me to take this water? A naked body great treasure light, standing with dozens of high-quality crystal columns of different heights, obviously in the great treasure hall with some sort of strong array, the old deist-dressed Jiyin God Lord is sitting in a gray on the quaint lotus stage. You are teaching a true disciple and elders of the great treasure group Little Extreme Circle. Immortal artifact is of course good, but whoever sees it is not jealous. According to the news I got, even Flowing Fire Continent has great treasure power. And for the Yuhua aristocratic family and the Great Cold Palace, the Huangpu aristocratic family, this is not just about robbing immortal artifact, who doesn't want revenge? This group of people is like a red-eyed mad dog. What can we do with Little Extreme Circle? And can Zhang Sun aristocratic family not shoot? It is impossible for us to get us in rounds and 4 rounds. Jiyin God Lord is more proud of the more proud, the more I feel that I am wise, so at this time, it is to hide the light, safety first, pass my orders. All the cultivators of our Little Extreme Circle, do not participate in this thing. Golden core above cultivator, don't go out of the mountain during this time. Sect Master said that we all agree with Sect Master that this bone is too great treasure, with our strength, no flaws, or Mingj as the best policy. Several old antiques nodded and no one disagreed. All the cultivators in the great treasure hall stood up and left. Hey, I'm going to grab you, I'm clever, I'm lonely cold continent's history, great treasure half divine mystic great treasure can, but can't see the situation, at this time Li burning with desire smoked heart, go out and smash after all these people left. Extreme Yin old ancestor still touched his chin and felt that he was huddled in sect, and he didn't go anywhere. It was extremely wise. Who's that? The strong breath of great treasure. It's divine mystic great treasure. Jiyin God Lord is the Little Extreme Circle sect master Jiyin God Lord. This person is famous for his mercy, and the old tycoon is definitely for the young man of Huai, who wants to snatch the young man in Huai. Immortal artifact on the body. Jiyin God Lord is here. Send the news to the owner. Just as Jiyin God Lord was arrogant, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian and Long Muxing were close to Xianbing City, less than 500 miles away. Many forces have discovered that Jiyin God Lord has come, and for a while, many news are coming. Passed out secretly. This is the sect master Jiyin God Lord of Little Extreme Circle. Hey, I don't know what secret place is used to converge, but the pressure does not converge. I don't know if he is divine mystic great treasure. It is very swaying. This person is definitely not in divine mystic third layer, and there is no power in the great treasure domain. Just as Wei Suo and Ling Longtian and Long Muxing, who made up as Jiyin God Lord, appeared on the outskirts of Xianbing Cheng, there were 3 men and 1 woman on the secret point of the city. 3 men and a woman were passing a fist great treasure, black and white eyeball watch Wei Suo et al. The 3 men and 1 woman all had a tall, great treasure, and the naked body was a singular dress that was covered in half of the face. The clothes were all made of essence metal silk, which were obviously swaying. A divine mystic breath is obviously something that divine mystic great treasure can refine, not a product. 3 men and a woman's body than ordinary cultivator high half a head, chi, and blood exuberant, obvious physical strength is far exceeds general cultivator, and 3 men and 1 woman, but female cultivator of naked Bo dy type looks most strong, and this female cultivator body has sandalwood-like bromoiso vanillic flowing, although any breath does not show, but 100% is divine mystic great treasure can, the other 3 men's bearing are extraordinary, vaguely revealed a high above breath. And at this time to listen to the dialogue of several cultivator, it seems that some despise Jiyin God Lord's feeling. What are they doing? Do they have the cultivator that tracks immortal artifact? Suddenly, a male cultivator eyes flash wearing a bronzed, full of fierce giant wolf-rune clothing, said this. At the moment they saw through the screen, Wei Suo suddenly ignited a black divine light screen and stayed in the air. Probably high great treasure, a female cultivator giving a strong great treasure power and oppression, nodded, her surging sound was hoarse, but revealed a high-level atmosphere, showing that these people are definitely not rogue cultivator what should be the great sect cultivator. Golden Emperor, or do we secretly keep up with this person, a male cultivator in a bright red essence metal suit out of the surging sound. Surely see if you can deceive this person to join hands. It's just me and the ancient prince, not enough to deal with the great treasure of Yuhua aristocratic family and Zhangsun aristocratic family. The female cultivator, who appeared to be the leader of the group of cultivator, swept the male cultivator, who was wearing a bronze-covered, 100-headed giant wolf rune, and said, and this man should only see that I am divine mystic cultivation base, see Goroi-sun is also divine mystic base, as long as I throw enough temptation conditions, he should choose to join us. At that time, even if we don't succeed in the end, there should be no problem in killing this person. Okay, just take advantage of this person's sect power. The male cultivator in a bronze coat nodded. Hong. The female cultivator no longer said anything. When the figure moved, it burst into a black-red smoke, and instantly formed a black-red cloud, wrapped in 3 male cultivators, with amazing speed towards Wei Suo and Ling Longtian. Long Muxing swept past. N. The female cultivator and the 3 male cultivators were swept out, and Wei Suo and Ling Longtian immediately noticed it. The female cultivator and the male cultivator in the bronze essence metal suit were extremely astute, and Wei Suo and Ling Longtian paused. It was the heavenly sea-billowing divine mirror that explored the whereabouts of the young man in Huai. The picture of the god of heaven and earth, the young man in Huai is plundering in a mountain covered with giant great ancient trees covered with white snow white but it looks very arrogant and has some breath. Scattered, obviously it is unresolved. It's just that Wei Suo and Ling Longtian don't know what the mountain is, the secret place and the secret place. Speaking of this also is the Sky Poseidon land a helpless secret place, although can through a secret place bucket left the breath, induction although cultivator now the location, but if do not know that cultivator in the end is where, is in vain, like the previous Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, when they left the secret place Samsara Tower, they tracked heavenly billowing sea divine mirror and ancient emperor corpse's breath. At that time, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian felt that if the lust situation of Yuhua Yingtian and ancient emperor corpse was very bad, they could even chase Yuhua Yingtian or install ancient emperor corpse. But traced to the ancient emperor corpse's secret place in a dark area, should be drilled into what Yin Chi thick underground, and Yuhua Yingtian is in a cave, although it seems Yuhua Yingtian body naked broken into more than 10, obviously lust condition is very bad, in desperately healing, but Wei Suo and Ling Longtian also did not know where he exactly in the secret place cave, so search for a burst of nothing after, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian quickly left. At this moment, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian were originally trying to enter the city of Xianbing, looking for a few great treasure caravans to ask, do you know if this mountain is located in secret place? Anyway, he is now Jiyin God Lord, acting there is no scruples about great treasure. Damn swindler, be careful, divine mystic great treasure can exist. At this time, the long black and red smoke cloud emerged. Ling Longtian just swept away, and immediately looked a little, sound transmission to Wei Suo's ear. Divine mystic great treasure can you? Wei Suo's divine consciousness splashed and immediately sensed a distinct divine mystic smell in the smoke. More than one, the first female cultivator is the cultivation base of divine mystic third layer late stage, there is also a male cultivator in a bronze essence metal suit that hides the cultivation base, it is the cultivator of the divine mystic second layer late stage. Ling Longtian immediately sounded again to Wei Suo's ear. A divine mystic third layer late stage great treasure can, a divine mystic second layer late stage great treasure can it be a person from Zhangsun aristocratic family? Wei Suo was also taken aback by the fact that with his current divine ability, it would be extremely dangerous to deal with two such cultivators. Because I don't know if it's an acquaintance of Jiyin God Lord, I'm afraid that it's a resurgence, so Wei Suo doesn't have to surging sound first, just watching the change of this black and red cloud. Pu. When it was less than 300 miles away from Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, the black and red clouds were collected, and the three cultivators of 3 men and 1 woman came out. What is the reason for these people? These pieces of clothing are likely to have the half-immortal level, and they are all made of essence metal wire. And chi and blood are so strong great treasure, there must be something to refine the naked body. Wei Suo immediately saw that the high-grade treasure female cultivator was wearing a silver-colored body with a strip of sleek rune like a silkworm. Ling Longtian's hidden divine mystic great treasure can be worn in a bronze, with hundreds of fierce wolves, rune intercourse. The other 2 male cultivators are rune in bright red essence metal suits with bats, and a male cultivator is an essence metal suit with a black iron color and many armored rhinoceros-like rune. Although the chi and blood of these 4 cultivators are not as good as Wei Suo, they should be at least equito to level 7 behemoths, giving people a sense of power and a sense of oven. Is this fellow deist a little extreme circle sect master Jiyin God Lord? After the original image, the high-grade treasure female cultivator headed out directly surging sound, and looked at Wei Suo. Yes, a few fellow deists are very familiar. I don't know where the cultivator is. Is it lonely cold continent? What new divine mystic great treasure is there? Wei Suo took a look at the high-grade treasure female cultivator and immediately imitated Jiyin God Lord, showing the kind of old tycoon, very sinister look. Divine Lord's reputation, I am waiting for a long time. The female cultivator's clothes are covered with a mask to cover the lower half of the face, but the eyes are great treasure and bright, full of majesty. Sound transmission to Wei Suo and other people's ears, there is no nonsense, I am not waiting lonely cold continent's cultivator, I am flowing fire continent, looking for divine Lord, I want to be an intercourse with divine Lord. Flowing fire continent, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian suddenly felt a little shock. This flowing fire continent is at ancient time, but the home of spirit race. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 950. Chapter 927 of the text of the Road to Heaven. Updated, 2011-12-03. Huangpu's family is still some things. Wei Suo's transmission of voice to Ling Longtian's ears was a bit surprising. Mobile access. The 150 black auras of this imperial family who came from the sky are very amazing. There is the God King's weather. The exercises he has performed are estimated to be at least mid-level, and this person is already Jin Dan. The fourfold midterm cultivation. There is an old saying in the monastic circle of Tianqian continent, saying that rabbits do not deal with wolves. It is said that low-level monks should not do transactions with high-level monks, because there is no guarantee. The imperial family suddenly appeared a monk with 4 golden monks. Sure enough, there was something in it. No wonder they dared to negotiate a deal with a sect like Zhenlizong. Puff. Wei Suo first hit a gleam of light, directly restraining Huang Puxian, and saved this guy from making any noise. Do you dare to come? What a pity then, Wei Suo shook his head and sighed. There were more than 30 monks who came with this imperial family around the Black Halo, Huijin and Huishenking, a group of young family children, including the one who was beaten by Wei Suo to find his teeth. Half the young man in silver robe whose face was so swollen that he could not speak at all was among them. But apart from Jindan's monks and Hui Jin and Hui Tianqing who wore black auras, there was only one cyan leather robe with his hands closed, and the thin old man was Jindan's late cultivation. With only 4 Jindan monks, Wei Suo didn't take it seriously at all. What he secretly considered now was how to not reveal his identity as much as possible. Don't use the whole virtual step method, don't use 2 spells at the same time, don't use the list of missing moons and Deizumi, and don't let the other party find that his physical body is extremely strong, including the best way to make the other party think that he is just Jin Dangziosuo said that he had to be a little more careful, and don't play up, showing a little bit of the bottom. Now you dare to be so arrogant, you are simply tired of life. The people of the Huangpushi family with 150 black light rings were present, and Hui Tianqing and others were very brave and shouted. A monk with 4 tiers of Jindan, plus 3 monks with 3 Jindans and more than 30 monks who are above the ideal level, should deal with the monks with 5 tiers of Jindan. Can you speak in the imperial family, if you can't even rank the top 3, just like him, you can't even talk about things, or call someone who can speak, and talk again? Wei Suo smiled, ignoring these guys who thought he must have killed him, glanced at the black tank, and said the very majestic Jindan monk. It's Huangpukiki. The 4 monks of Jindan are also right here. Huangpu is strangely known as the god of war of the eastern plains. It is a well-known ruthless character in the entire eastern icefield. This person dared to speak like this. It is really crazy, and there must be a war. At this time, most of the Forbidden City had been alarmed. Many monks recognized who the person was. Many people felt weird when they heard Wei Suo say this. Court death. Huang Puikai, who was surrounded by 150 black auras of light, was extremely arrogant. There was no nonsense at all. Bum shocked the void, a black giant hand that was dozens of times larger than the person's body instantly condensed in front of him, and instantly brought out a heavy and imposing momentum. Who is going to die? Wei Suo said so coquettishly. His eyes came out again, someone exclaimed, and everyone saw a light in Wei Suo's 2 eyes stretched out a few feet. At the same time, Huang Puikai's body also shook at the same time, and the black giant hand trembling violently did not hit in time. On the contrary, a colorful rainbow light was shot from the front of Wei Suo, and he was shot away from the chariot and flew back. Everywhere is covered with ancient beast reliefs. In front of 2 black chariots like giant tigers with huge beast heads completely lost the air and crashed down from the sky. How is this possible? So the monks who saw the scene were all air-conditioned, and together with Huang Puikai and others, the 30 or so monks who surrounded the Weizhou regiment were all astonished, and they couldn't believe a Jin Dansai. The heavy monk was blown away. Let's go together, the thin old man in a blue leather robe, not far from Huang Puyuki, yelled out. The voice was very sharp, just like the old crow crying at night. A white jade gourd came out of his hand, and a series of white blades of light spewed out of his mouth, falling towards Wei Suo as if it were raining. Wei Suo shot a rainbow of light, which could block the white knife. Wei Suo was a little depressed. In order to pretend to be like the young Chinese monk as much as possible, he now chose Tianjianzong's cold and colorful technique. The brilliance and colorful ice produced by this technique is somewhat similar to that of the young man in Chinese clothes, but the power is really not strong. This magic weapon of this thin old man is only Dao middle grade. It's just stubborn. But while screaming depressingly, Wei Suo forced 2 more glory in his eyes, and took the opportunity to start the multiplication sound. The slender old man wearing a blue leather robe suddenly couldn't bear it, and with a strange cry, he sputtered blood and fell from the air. It's too bad. Wei Suo shook his head again when he shot down the thin old man. It turned out that Hui Jin and Hui Tianqing and others saw Wei Suo defeating Huang Puikai and the thin old man in a face-to-face meeting, and they immediately scared away and ran away. Although these young family children's behavior is not bad, but they have no such fierce atmosphere against the enemy. Compared with the old antiques and suzerain characters that Wei Suo encountered in Zai, they are simply embroidered pillows. Bale of grass. I want to go, isn't that easy? After shaking his head, Wei Suo kept blinking his eyes, exerting a large multiplication sound and playing a piece of multicolored brilliance, first hitting Hui Jin and Hui Tianqing from the air. Come down, and then chase the rest of these hooligans. I have already warned you, if you dare to come again, I will not let you go so easily. It was only a moment, all the 30 or so monks who followed Huang Puikai were shot down by Wei Suo. Wei Suo didn't take 2 heavy hands, all of these monks were not killed, but they were all hit by the ground and his bones were all broken. These monks were restrained by Wei Suo and stacked on top of this ice peak. All the treasures in his body were also collected by Wei Suo. After being promoted to Shenxian, Wei Suo's double gods and flesh are really like bottomless caves. The things that millions of spirit stones bought, plus the treasures like the purple moonstone heart found in the strange stone garden, just led him from Shenxian first to Shenxian second. The cultivation practice has been improved by 1/10. Although Wei Suo has tens of millions of spirit stones, it is estimated that there are at least tens of millions of magic stones and magic weapons, but it is really useful. Tens of millions of spirit stones are estimated to have gone out like running water after being cultivated by harvesting things. Now the things in these 30 or so monks are not without much help for Wei Suo. In the Nebao sack before Hui Tianqing, there is a spirit pill made from the 7th level mid-level water monster, and a water king ginseng equivalent to the 7th level high-level monster pill. The spirit stones and magic utensils on the rest of these monks are added together, but they can at least equate to 7 or 8 million inferior spirit stones. Moreover, from a Huang Puyuki who was beaten by him in the face, Wei Suo also found a magical tool that was too late to use and was close to the ferry. This is a magical tool similar to the extinction of Jindan and Jizu. It is very likely that it was left by the Shenxian power before the imperial family, and it was condensed with the blood of some kind of ancient monster. It looks like a piece of yellow-brown amber, and the shape is like a slap-like bark. However, there was a circle of rotating golden light, which made Wei Suo feel that as long as the true element excited, the power contained in this circle of rotating golden light would soon explode. Boy, you dare to fight our imperial family, you are dead. Seeing Wei Suo and Ling Longtian unmanly scraping things from their own people, they also took out the magical instrument on their bottoms and looked left and right. The black halo on their bodies had disappeared and their bones were broken. Hakone's Huangpu language was extremely terrifying. Ah, I'm dead, I'm so scared, Wei Suo yelled out deliberately, and at the same time deliberately inspired the magic weapon that could disguise him as the monk Jindan, but it was not completely excited, making him outside. Aura flashed, and then disappeared immediately. Death merchant, can you not be so cheap? Ling Longtian gave Wei Suo a very depressed look. You are just a Jindan monk, and dare to be an enemy of our imperial family. When we saw Wei Suo's body flashing, his nose was almost sulky, and he suddenly shouted again. Don't talk nonsense, what mystery did you get from the ancient picture you snatched? What did you and Zhen Lizong plot in the dark? Wei Suo directly waved his hand, stunned the rest of them, and then used a cat catching the mouse's gaze and looking at Huang Puikai asked. How do you know the ancients? Huangpu's language was startled, said a few words and then stopped. Haha, there is a drama. It seems that you still have some status in the imperial family, which is a little stronger than the waste imperial blessing. Wei Suo suddenly laughed. In this case, do you want to say it now, or do you want me tortured after? You want to be immortal? Beg me to tell me again. Please, ancestors of the 18th generation. You dare to be an enemy of our imperial family, you will regret being born in this world. Huang Puikai screamed, I will beg you. You kneel down and beg me. Ye Wei Suo chuckled, reaching out and hitting several Huaguang. Ah! Please, please listen to me. After half a year of incense, Huang Puikai, who was no longer in the form of an adult, burst into tears and begged for mercy. Ling Longtian looked at Wei Suo, who was proud, extremely speechless. The spells of the corpse sect are nothing, but the techniques of torturing people are all top-notch. It is estimated that any monk can't stand it. I don't know how to do it, the automatic update setting is inexplicably gone. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 951. Chapter 951 Ice and Snow Divine Salamander. I want to be afraid and only afraid of a few of you in the dark. Wei Suo swears in the dark, but naturally he will not say anything. Look for people in this mountain range. Then, Wei Suo didn't have any nonsense, sprinkled a flower, and condensed the mountain of the ancient trees that were covered with thick white butt, the young man in the Chinese costume that Divine Sea mirrored. What could this place be? The female cultivator's gaze flashed and asked. I have a shapeshift great art that temporarily tracks the cultivator's breath and condenses the scene of where the person is. Wei Suo looked at the female cultivator and said, this is where the person is. This is the Tiangu Snow White Butt original female cultivator. A male cultivator wearing a black iron essence metal shapeshift great art suit took out a white jade talisman, and after a flash of white light in his eyes, he immediately said to the female cultivator. Do these guys have detailed maps of lonely cold continent inside? It seems that this time is very prepared, and I am determined to win, but this will also save us a lot of effort. Green-robed old man suddenly took a surging sound. Since we have agreed to join hands, how do we go together? The height of the great treasure's female cultivator surging sound sounded at the same time, around the body shocked, and there were countless black and red clouds, and there was no disagreement with Wei Suo. The tall grass treasure of the female cultivator was thick black. A red cloud of smoke, sweeping Wei Suo, Ling Longtian, and Long Muxing all toward the sky on the west side. The black and red clouds are rolling, and the momentum is very amazing, but when it comes to the upper clouds, it suddenly changes into a white color with the clouds, and it isolates everyone's breath. This is why the shapeshift great art is amazing. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian looked at each other and both of them felt it. This rolling cloud was made by origin chi of this female cultivator, not what shapeshift great art great treasure. The speed of this cloud is probably still above Wei Suo's, and there is such a hidden function. The movement of shapeshift great art is also very remarkable. What is the next surgery? Shapeshift great art. I was taken by the shapeshift great art of the female cultivator, and the leisurely Wei Suo considered this headache. Current. Since it is disguised as Divine Lord, when you meet the Yuhua aristocratic family and the Huangpu aristocratic family, the great cold palace cultivator, the great treasure takes the shapeshift great art sound and the previously used Yijian, only my heart sword and other shapeshift great art can't be used, and their own columns. Defective month and MT Sumi great lifting is definitely not exposed. If you think about it, Wei Suo thinks that it can be used by the great treasure. The shapeshift great art is only the revolving heavens demon suppressing method. Anyway, for others, this may be extreme yin god. Zhengzhen's shapeshift great art, no doubt. As for the rest, Wei Suo feels that only a few pieces of Yin Corp Sect's shapeshift great art are topped out, so Yin Corp Sect has 2 heaven-level shapeshifts. Great art is fully displayed with his current cultivation base, not too weak. Read the novel and go to the leaves. As for the shapeshift great art great treasure shapeshift great art, the annihilation golden core works with shapeshift great art, and it can be used as well. Because Wei Suo remembers the time when Ji Ying God Lord took the shot, the shapeshift great art will also condense a core bead with a powerful energy and a great treasure. Good to use. After thinking about this, Wei Suo simply came to realize the eternal saint becoming secret art given by the high great treasure female cultivator known as the Golden Emperor. This script shift great art scripture is not too long compared to other strong shapeshift great art, only 50 sentences, and scripture is not difficult to understand, but only half an hour later, Wei Suo will completely complete the sharpshift great art. Enlightened. But this method of shapeshift great art is indeed very dangerous. Divine mark is to condense directly in the sea of consciousness, and then into the naked body. If it is slightly in the process of shapeshift great art there is an accident, I am afraid that the entire head will be blown up first. And divine mystic great treasure can pass, it seems to be in the direction of the original white snow butt, and there should be other forces to discover the whereabouts of the cultivator. After more than half an hour, when the white drum butt snow is still at least 10,000 miles away, 3 men and 1 woman are among the 4 cultivators of Saint King sect, who are dressed in bright red and covered with many bats. Rune's male cultivator of essence metal shapeshift great art clothes suddenly made such a surging sound. Immediately, the black and white magnificent light flashes, a black and white eye-shaped shapeshift great art great treasure, emerged from his eyebrows and formed a picture in front of everyone. In the picture, a room full of ice and ice, wrapped in countless transparent divine mark, flying in the air, the momentum is extremely amazing. This temple of the ancient temple seems to have a faint treasure. Next to the giant temple in the hill, a young cultivator in black and white is carrying more than 20 cultivators. Yes. People from Yuhua Yingtian and Great Cold Palace. Wei Suo immediately surging sound to remind the 3 men and a woman of 4 cultivators, and he and Ling Longtian also intercourse changed a color. This shapeshift of the male cultivator wearing a bright red essence metal shapeshift great art great treasure is very strange, like. I can always improve the person's eyesight and let him see at least 2,000 miles away. Because at the moment, with the eyes of Ling Longtian, this Yuhua Yingtian and this ancient temple cannot be seen at all. This person is Yuhua Yingtian of Yuhua aristocratic family. Sure enough, the name is well deserved. When I heard Wei Suo's, the female cultivator, the tall grass treasure, immediately showed some dignified look. This ancient hall is completely decorated with restricted bodies. It should be a heritage of shapeshift great art. We keep up, they are such a great treasure, and it is very likely that we know the whereabouts of the person better than us wearing the hidden divine mystic cultivator in the bronze shapeshift great art. I immediately sounded the sound to the queen's ear. This. Fellow deist, how far are we from Yuhua Yingtian? Yuhua Yingtian has a secret place technique that can sense the breath. The last time I approached him 3000, it was sensed in the lust condition of the means. We can't be too far from them. Close Wei Suo out surging sound, on the bright surface is to remind these cultivators not to be too close, but in fact, it is also side by side, to explore the shapeshift great art great treasure of the male cultivator wearing a bright red essence metal shapeshift great art clothing, can be explored. How far is it? No problem, we still have about 3,500 miles from them at the moment. They should not be able to sense it. After the Golden Queen said this sentence, she immediately pursued the direction of Yuhua Yingtian and others. This thing actually allows this person to see 3,500 miles away. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian are a little scared. When the 2 sides are against the enemy, one party is first discovered by the other party, and it has already fallen into the invisible. Someone is fighting the shapeshift great art in the underground. What forces have already caught up with that person? Even after nearly 3 hours of chasing, the Golden Lady and Wei Suo and others suddenly shocked, and the Yuhua Yingtian side paused in the picture of the black and white eye-shaped shapeshift great art great treasure. and just a piece of secret place in front of the Yehua Yingtian side. Snow White, but in the original, the mountains of several dragons trembled fiercely, like the earthquake of the giant great treasure, the ground of many secret places was cracking, the ground of a great treasure piece and a great treasure piece. Even like undulating undulations, there are pieces of land from time to time. The surface collapsed and the splendid light flashed inside, and it seemed that there was more than one side of the shapeshift great art. Let's go. The Golden Emperor is a surging sound, wrapped in the clouds of Weisuo and others, and suddenly the speed is nearly doubled. In the picture, after the Yehua Yingtian party paused for a while, it immediately swept toward the secret place, the shapeshift great art. Great treasure. Weisuo does not move the surging sound color, and almost sees the landform of the secret place. The great treasure is the underground space of the secret place. There are many underground spaces like the underground palace. Generally, this kind of landform is the soft rock inside the mountain naked body, which is formed by the erosion of earth chi. Boom, boom. Roar. After 2,000 miles of continuous madness, the secret place of the shapeshift great art has appeared in the eyes of Weisuo and Ling Longtian. How come there are so many beasts surging sound? What surprised Weisuo and Ling Longtian was that, besides the original flapshift great art roaring surging sound from the original gray-white but original, there are obviously a lot of beasts surging sound faint. Past. Hong. Suddenly, the Golden Emperor has not discussed with Weisuo etal, how to do it, a surging sound of giant treasure roaring surging sound between the heavens and the earth. A mountain range of more than 10 miles collapsed completely, and Snow White Butt, a white behemoth with a length of more than 5 feet, a double head, and 4 feet, a naked body and a lizard, from a broken out of the mountains. The monster chi on this giant beast is extremely amazing. As soon as it rushes out, the surrounding mist changes directly and forms a staircase-like shape in the air. Double-headed divine salamander. Green-robed old man surging sound just after the sound in Weisuo's ears, the golden lady, wearing a bright red essence metal shapeshift great art suit and a male cultivator wearing a black iron shapeshift great art suit are also at the same time issued a surging sound exclaimed. This secret place is actually a gathering place for ice and snow divine salamander. Weisuo and Ling Longtian eyes flash immediately reacted. A rig. Come to ice and snow divine salamander is a rare high-level monster beast. The general high-level monster beast is dominated by mountains. A high-level monster beast occupies a great treasure territory, but ice and snow divine salamander is born. The ice monsters at the level 6 high level are all clusters. Home, are a great treasure group living in a secret place. And among the great treasure group ice and snow divine salamander, there are usually a few salamander kings. Except for a few salamander kings, the other public ice and snow divine salamander are not qualified for intercourse. A few salamander king. Talent and the female ice in the group Snow White Butt. Intercourse match, breed offspring. According to many cultivators' inferences, it may be similar to the dual cultivator shapeshift great art between cultivators. These salamander kings can get a lot of good secret places from the mother ice white butt. For the sake of this, several salamander kings can produce double heads, manifestation into double-headed divine salamander, and the strength will far exceeds the average ice white butt, basically more than level 7 high level. Several super strong people are cultivated in one ethnic group, and the rest are protected by these super strong people. This great treasure is also the unique survival of the ethnic group of ice and snow divine salamander. At the moment, a double-headed divine salamander is rushing out. It is very likely that the young man in Huai has discovered that this secret place is the gathering place of ice and snow divine salamander. Seeing to be pursued, no shapeshift great art escapes. The chase is introduced into the secret place, so that the pursuers and these monster beasts are strangled to see if they can take the opportunity to escape. According to records, Ice and Snow Divine Salamander has at least 5 or 60 ethnic groups, and there is such a ethnic group in this lonely cold continent Heaven's Dome. I'm afraid this is only a sparsely populated place. Lonely cold continent, where there are very few cultivators within these Heaven's Domes, will exist. Boom. Just as this double-headed divine salamander smashed the moment of heaven-shaking monster chi, a sizzling, chilly, ice-cold temple was also rising from the ground. Shua. A transparent divine mark is played from the ancient temple of the You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 952. Chapter 952 Dual Strong Grease Treasure. Chi. 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 Just when the double-headed divine salamander was killed by divine might on the ancient temple, the snow-white butt in the radius of 600 meters seemed to suddenly fly, at least 40 escape light. Behind many escape lights, there are a few white lights rushing out, but it is the number of ice and snow divine salamander that seems to be completely irritated. Among the more than 40 eco-lights, spiritual chi is the strongest among the golden core great treasure cultivators. But now these golden core great treasure cultivators are simply not afraid to stop. After rushing out from the ground, they are all fleeing in all directions. Double-headed divine salamander monster chi heaven shaking, you can feel it thousands of miles away, at least the equivalent to golden core 4th layer 5th layer, but it was killed by this ancient temple of the Great Cold Palace. The previously seen great treasure cultivator apparently also knew that the Xuanhuan aristocratic family and the Great Cold Palace had arrived, and this secret place was no longer a part of their level of cultivator. Catch a question and ask what is inside the lust, the hidden divine mystic great treasure in the bronze essence metal suit. I saw the golden lady, and said, boom. But at this time, the world shook, and among the several mountains, the entire mountain range was completely broken by an amazing divine might. The numerous great treasures were like a meteor, and numerous mountains and rocks. The snow-white butt block of the giant great treasure is directly labeled as fly ash. A great treasure of black and white divine splendor and a great treasure piece of transparent crystal light then rushed out of the cracked mountains. The two opposing divine mights' middles formed a shockwave like an invisible divine weapon. Directly cut a squad for more than 10 miles on the ground. Xuanhuan Yingtian's figure appeared in the cracked mountains, the black hair fluttered, the wounds that were shot by ancient emperor corpse seemed to have recovered, and it was a black and white divine light, under his hand, across the secret place in the cracked mountains, all the front collisions, and all the divine might he broke out. 3 Salamander King, there is still an ancient Salamander King that has already reached divine mystic. Wei Suo and green-robed old man are extremely shocking. In front of Xuanhuan Yingtian, among the cracked mountain naked body, there is a secret place, and the secret place is a dense cultivator white bone, which is paved with a thick layer. Among the white bone, there are more than a dozen ice white butt quail eggs with more than half a person, and these dozens of ice white butt are covered with ice. There are 3 doubles in front of the quail. Headed divine salamander has sacrificed monster core, desperately resisting Xuanhuan Yingtian's divine might. One of the 2 double-headed divine salamander body out of the cold, on the surface of the skin formed a root up to several feet of ice thorn. I am afraid at least have golden core 4 5th layer strength, and the middle of a double-headed divine salamander body type, and the 2 double-headed divine salamander almost, but the body out of the rolling origin chi, in its body actually formed a dazzling halo. Even more striking is that this head double-headed divine salamander sacrifice a monster core is not the Dan liquid, but a great treasure film, a great treasure piece of divine light, with terrifying pressure, to Wei Suo's feelings, not even in the black hair old devil out of divine might. Not to mention the monster beast of divine mystic, even the monster beast of the golden core 3/4 layer strength, in the usual cultivation world, is also extremely difficult to see. Wei Suo used to cross the animal tide in the heavenly profound continent northern part. He only saw that Lin Taixu had no deal. It is estimated that the strength should be at least to the golden core 5th layer late stage, and the strong great treasure monster wrapped in the rolling black chi beast, but I just saw that one, I didn't see the second strength and the monster beast, even more than the monster beast. But this time in the Samsara Tower, the two monsters of the divine mystic level were not counted. In this secret place, I saw another one. This is something that makes Wei Suo unbelievable. No. However, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian also had a sharp flash of gaze, and the two found that the divine mystic level double-headed divine salamander was not old enough to look like the other two salamander kings. And when Yuhua Yingtian's raging powerful energy repressed the past, both of them saw the back of the divine mystic level salamander king, and there was a layer of spirit light flickered for a moment in the white bone heap. Humanoid? Although the distance is too far apart, Ling Longtian is also viewed through the black and white eye-shaped great treasure, but both of them can be seen. That person should be the young man with a hidden body shape. Looking at the lust situation at the moment, the young man in Huai seems to have been hit hard, and the three salamander kings actually regard this young man in Huai as their own, and are desperately protecting these ice-white butt quail eggs and this like a young man. The profiteer, this person is probably the collection of the ancient desolate plant. The great treasure enhances the strength of the salamander king, so let these salamander king think that he is his own. Ling Longtian first came up with the most likely reason, sound transmission to Wei Suo's ear. The man was hiding behind the three heads of salamander king. It should have been badly hit. Even the precious treasure called True Yuan could not do it. Strange, how does the salamander king seem to have just advanced? At this time, the golden emperor also saw the clue. We have 10 to the past, and the three salamander kings will not support it for a long time. If it is not Yuhua Yingtian who cares about the life and death of the cultivator behind the three salamander kings, I am afraid that the three salamander kings have already been killed by him. Slow. Another divine mystic great treasure can appear. When I saw this lust scene, let alone the four cultivators of the Golden Emperor, even Wei Suo was foolish burning, and I couldn't wait to drive Yuhua Yingtian away. But at this time, the cultivator wearing a bright red essence metal suit suddenly became a surging sound. Just in the blink of an eye, a burst of continuous sounding surging sound came out of the void. In the void on the opposite side of Wei Suo etal, a circle of divine light halo falls from the void. One figure after another, flashing out of it, the body is very strong great treasure. There are more than a dozen cultivators in this group. The spiritual chi on the great treasure is a phantom of a demon or a bodhisattva who is 3 or 6 arms. It is far from the general golden core great treasure cultivator. Headed by a male and a female 2 cultivators. Male cultivator the tall bones, the eyebrows are slender, the corners of the mouth are upturned, the face is cold and full of majesty, just wearing a cyan cloth, the divine light on the body, actually formed 1,000 white arms holding various prints behind him. And this person has a breath of divine mystic, which is like a divine mystic great treasure. A female cultivator next to him is a beautiful girl who looks like only 17 or 8 years old. She is wearing 2 horns and a small scorpion. It looks like a naughty, holding a white banana and a small jade fan. This is which sect cultivator does not seem to be afraid of Yuhua aristocratic family and great cold palace, is it the cultivator of the Zhangsun aristocratic family? Wei Suo's heart just came up with such a thought, boom a surging sound, the great ice palace's ancient ice temple once again played a great treasure piece of ice, rushed at least 7 or 8 heads to the Yuhua Yingtian secret place ice and snow divine salamander fell and headed for Yuhua Yingtian, obviously with Yuhua Yingtian and a secret place. At the same time, Yuhua Yingtian's calm but irresistible surging sound sounded, Zhangsun Jing, today the secret place is not where you should come, you leave, otherwise I won't have any hands today, you must fall this secret place. Haha, the real immortal armament was born. Lonely cold continent was originally a rushing cultivation world, and even a layer of concealed ice shell on the original surface has been broken. Can you pretend to be calm? Behind the divine light, the male cultivator transformed into thousands of white arms. The surging sound is very loud and bold. You and me are inevitable. Sure enough, the people of Zhangsun aristocratic family, upon hearing the dialogue between Yuhua Yingtian and the male cultivator, Wei Suo, and others immediately knew the identity of the person coming. Wei Suo's own heavenly profound continent's 10 great treasure super sect, as well as the top figures of several great treasures such as Zi Xian Dong Zhao Tian, Qi Xian Xie, Western Immortal Dwelling, etc., but lonely cold continent the top figures of the super great treasure, Wei Suo have already seen it. Okay, then you come and I fight alone, then say. There was no nonsense at all, and Yuhua Yingtian turned directly and headed for Zhangsun Jing. At the same time, many cultivators of the Yuhua aristocratic family came back from all directions and together with the ancient ice temple of the Great Cold Palace, surrounded the 3 Salamander King and the young man who had been injured by Origin Chi Great Treasure to prevent the name. Young people in Huai escaped. Good, refreshing. You are also my favorite character. Zhangsun Jing was extremely bold, and did not drag the water at all. He also gave off the great treasure smile. At the same time, he was separated from the rear 10 cultivators and greeted Yuhua Yingtian alone. Lesser 1000 Umit Basil. Zhangsun Jing was the first to launch an attack. Thousands of white arms behind him all made one print. Thousands of white prints had a violent pressure, and they shook with emptiness. Each print was like a giant mountain. From all directions, Yuhua Yingtian suppressed it. The great treasure of the Zhangsun aristocratic family can rarely move around in the cultivation world, and I don't think there are such people. The 4 emperors, including the Golden Emperor, suddenly saw an amazing look in their eyes. Good guy Wei Suo and Ling Longtian also looked at each other. It seems that the strength of Zhangsun Jing is similar to that of Yuhua Yingtian. This Dao technique gives Wei Suo's feelings and his MT Sumi great lifting one level. Shua. A violent whistling sound, Yuhua Yingtian draws a black pen and a piece of white paper, and instantly smashes all the prints. The mountains below the middle of the 2 men's tens of miles collapsed and fell. Haha. Zhangsun Jing was obviously not defeated by the powerful energy, but it was not shocking. In the surging sound, a yellow divine mark swayed in front of him, forming a yellow high-grade treasure palm. Yuhua Yingtian took it. Hong, hong, hong. One side of the world is constantly falling, and Zhou Kaijing and Yuhua Yingtian's sky-changing origin chi fluctuates, piercing the void above the head, forming 2 amazing beams of light. The 2 were in the void all the time, completely hard with the unmatched divine might. Just a moment of time, the space between the 2 was extinguished hundreds of times, each played hundreds of divine might. Town. Suddenly, Zhangsun Jing, a surging sound great treasure, squirted a smoldering scent in the mouth, which seemed to have hundreds of white long-fruited fruits, and it merged into the yellow great treasure hand he had made. Pa! The yellow great treasure hand smashed all the black and white divine light in front of Yuhua Yingtian. Yuhua Yingtian stepped back 10 steps in the air. The void in front of him disappeared 10 times in a row. If 10 ink paintings collapsed, Zhangsun was resisted. Jing this hit. Zhangsun Jing was motionless in the air, and there was a hot spring on his head, and Yuhua Yingtian's mouth was a bloodshot. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 953. Chapter 953 Divorce Divine Sea Teenager. Shua. Yuhua Yingtian's body suddenly broke out with a terrifying inner chi. His whole person came out with divine light in black and white. He approached Zhangsun Jing step by step, and a unique origin chi was around him. The body intercourse weaved the strange shape-shift great art, and even the light in the space around him changed, making his whole person seem to be thinner, as if it really turned into a painting. Read the novel and go to the leaves. Good strong treasures shapeshift great art domain power. The eyes of the four emperors, including the Golden Emperor, are flashing and look blank. Heaven and earth reincarnation. Zhang Sunjing's look also became extremely dignified, and it was a squirting squirt from the mouth, but the smoldering spirit of his sneeze was also yellow, and the yellow-gray grate in front of him. The treasure hand merged, but it directly formed a yellow-gray great treasure ball and wrapped him inside. The yellow great treasure ball exudes a star-like atmosphere, and the above is actually the appearance of the manifestation trees, rivers, and lakes, as if a world is being born. Boom! Two heaven-shaking inner chi swayed together, making a salamander king feel completely resistant to shapeshift great art, leaving the two outside salamander king directly, wanting to escape directly, but was immediately smashed by dozens of splendid light go with. The ice temple of the Great Cold Palace has not been shot at the moment, and it seems to be taking off for Yinghua Yingtian. Pu. Yinghua Yingtian flew out in the air, and the black and white divine light shot in the air, like a fire, spurting out the blood of the great treasure group and divine mystic origin chi. On the other hand, the yellow-gray great treasure ball was also completely exploded. The inside of Zhang Sunjing was also coughing blood, and among the top of the head, a yellow sable origin chi rushed out, which seemed to carry a strip of blood light. Yinghua Yingtian, you have experienced the great treasure battle, origin chi has not recovered, today is not my opponent, or you leave. However, Zhang Sunjing did not retreat in the air, but in the air was extremely arrogant and sent out a terrible great treasure smile. I have to hold your half stick of incense for a while, there is no problem at all. Yinghua Yingtian was bloodless in front of her, but her face was still very calm, and her body was surrounded by the cold killing intent. These people around you definitely can't support the half stick of incense time. Oh! Zhang Sunjing didn't immediately shoot again, but his eyes turned to the rest of the Yinghua Yingtian and the rest of the Yinghua aristocratic family. Take a look at whether you can force us to leave. The card is up. Yinghua Yingtian didn't speak, just glanced at the ancient temple of Hanbing, which was suspended behind him. Shua. Inner chi, a strong great treasure, rushed out of the ice-cold temple and cut through the sky. It is obvious that divine might, a murderer, is recovering. Zhang Sunjing, our family owner and the inheritance of shapeshift great art great treasure are in the hands of this person. For this person, our Huangpu aristocratic family can be to destroy indiscriminately at all costs. At the same time, an arpeggio sounds dry and appear extremely old surging sound, also from the ancient temple of the ice. Hey, another strong great treasure, inner chi, swayed from the top of the ancient temple. A colorful jade light emerged from the ancient temple of the ice, illuminating the upper half of the sky. This is two ancient soldiers who are comparable to divine mystic great treasure. The cultivators of the four royal princes, including the Golden Emperor, are very dignified and secretly sound transmission. The two breaths in the ancient temple of the ice are like two divine mystic great treasures. The people of Huangpu aristocratic family have come, and they are all in the ice. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian do not move the surging sound color, and they are secretly calculating. For the Huangpu aristocratic family and the Yinghua aristocratic family to come up with one or two things that could approach immortal artifact powerful energy, he had no surprises. When he attacked the Sky Sword Sect Mountain Gate, he encountered several powerful terrifying inheritances of immortal artifact, which caused his meat to collapse. Huangpu aristocratic family and Yinghua aristocratic family, Great Cold Palace. This kind of sect, the inheritance of shapeshift great art is definitely more amazing than Sky Sword Sect, which is why he and Ling Longtian are not ready to attack the mountain gate of Huangpu aristocratic family. Yinghua Tianyuan, and the Emperor's innate jade apricot, can only be inspired by 10 innate jade apricots. Yinghua Yingtian, it seems that you Yinghua aristocratic family, Great Cold Palace and Huangpu aristocratic family, for this person, I really do whatever it takes. In the face of the two terrifying inner chi and the warning surging sound swayed in the ancient temple of the ice, Zhang Sunjing smiled and shook his head. But if there are only these cards, Yehua Yingtian, you still can only leave. I don't want to talk nonsense. If so, let go of a fight. Yehua Yingtian looked calm and stepped forward. All the ancient ash trees within 100 miles behind them suddenly died, and the smoldering spirits poured into his naked body. The momentum on his body suddenly rose. It completely overwhelmed the momentum that was radiated from Zhang Sunjing. I am telling the truth. Zhang Sunjing is still standing in the void like a meteorite, but there is no plan to do it right away. Shua. At the same time, a golden light, suddenly bursting out of the eyebrows of a white middle-aged cultivator among the more than 10 cultivators behind him. A golden figure, holding a golden sword, stepped out from the eyebrow of the white middle-aged cultivator of the golden core third layer cultivation base. Strong great treasures, divine mystic breath, shaking the world. The golden divine light is dazzling, and the golden light of the circle spreads in the void, making many cultivators of the Yehua aristocratic family a step back. Divine mystic fourth layer great treasure can divine mark shapeshift great art, the golden emperor and others changed their faces instantly. Wang Wei, Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, including the green-robed old man, also sighed with a sigh of cold air, all full of incredible thoughts. This golden man exudes infinite majesty, not the body, entirely by a golden divine mark condensation, its shape, and Wang Wei previous divine mark shapeshift great art is very great treasure different, but it is now covered with golden armor, like the ancient Uyghurs War King divine mark shapeshift great art body, including the shapeshift of the golden sword held in his hand great art domain power and breath. Wei Suo is extremely familiar. Especially the volatility and breath of the golden sword, no one is more certain than Wei Suo, who has personally opposed the enemy. This divine mark shapeshift great art is 100% full of the shapeshift great art of sect master Wang Wei. Wang Wei's shapeshift great art is how to be arrive in person, appearing in the cold great treasure, and Yehua aristocratic family. And Wei Suo and Ling Longtian can now see that both the divine mark shapeshift great art and the golden sword in their hands are more powerful than the Wei Suo before. After the last ambush of Immortal Ascension sect master, Wang Wei's cultivation base has once again improved, and the cultivation base has improved a lot. Hula. After Wang Wei came out, without saying anything, the golden holy sword in his hand was a void. A golden divine splendor spilled out, and in front of him and Zhang Sunjing, there was a golden divide that didn't disappear at all. Zhang Sunjing. It turns out that you have secretly teamed up with Cloud Spirit Great Treasure Sect. Yehua Yingtian's footsteps stopped, and the world of black and white outside was turbulent. If not, how can you stop the ambitions of your Yehua aristocratic family and the Great Cold Palace? Zhang Sunjing smiled and looked at Yehua Yingtian. Unfortunately, Heaven's Dome is like the supreme shapeshift great art that ancient that super great treasure can leave. Any sect that wants to occupy other great treasures across Heaven's Dome, no one will not suffer the result of defeat. Your ambitions, there is no warm treasure, Heaven's Dome, have collapsed the great treasure half. Now I advise you not to be obsessed with it. Xiru, you can also inspire the things of our grandchildren. After Zhang Sunjing said a few words to Yehua Yingtian, he turned his head and looked at the young prostitute of the Zhang Sun aristocratic family behind him. Good. The young prostitute of the Zhang Sun aristocratic family, who was wearing a chauffeur, gave a crisping surging sound. Immediately, there was a strong regal treasure in the white jade fan in her hand, a streamlined white splendid light. Everything in front of her, every time it flows out, it makes the emptiness of the square. My sister's shapeshift great art is not really the immortal armament, but it is also the legacy of my ancestors, great treasure. I am afraid that there is no problem with the innate jade apricot of the Huangpu aristocratic family. Plus, I am with sect master Wang shapeshift great art. Yehua Yingtian, today you want to decide the battle, you have to think about the consequences. Zhang Sunjing looked at Yehua Yingtian again and said slowly. Zhang Sun aristocratic family has already secretly joined forces with Emperor Tianyi. If the Yuhua aristocratic family and the Great Cold Palace and the Huangpu aristocratic family invade the Cloud Spirit Great Treasure, they will definitely be attacked by the Emperor and the Zhang Sun aristocratic family. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian were deeply inhaled, and the lust changes at the moment were completely beyond their imagination. Huangtian Road and Heaven Transformation Cult have teamed up to form the Great Transformation Alliance, or Zhang Sun aristocratic family, together with Emperor Tiandao and Heaven Transformation Cult, secretly want to control the entire Cloud Spirit Great Treasure. The world is not necessarily. But from the present lust-shaped view, Zhang Sun aristocratic family the side has obviously occupied an absolute advantage. This is the best. Kill Yuhua Yingtian and other people, eradicate Yuhua aristocratic forces of the opportunity, but listen to Zhang Sun Jing words, but secret place left a bottom line, let Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, green-robed old man are implicitly feel, Yuhua aristocratic family also have what extremely terrifying pressure at the bottom of things. If Zhang Sun aristocratic family the side kill Yuhua Yingtian, forced Yuhua aristocratic family if you play that thing, I'm afraid Zhang Sun aristocratic family the side has no shapeshift great art to resist. Yuhua aristocratic family, what else is it that dares to cross the bottom line? I actually confess to other great treasures, sect, what I lost today, I will personally ask you back. The black and white divine light on Yuhua Yingtian dimmed and turned around, like the setting sun, there was nothing to stop, and walked away step by step. Among the ancient temples of the Han Bing, at least 20 of the older generations were extremely unwilling, hysterical roaring, but did not run shapeshift great art at all, and could only leave with Yuhua Yingtian. The battle strength of both sides is very obvious. To really kill and kill, on this side, I am afraid that only Yuhua Yingtian can escape. That is who. At this time, let the Golden Emperor and Wei Suo, this group of cultivators that have not yet appeared, are a glimpse of it. Another figure appeared, falling from the void, great treasure shaking the great treasure the people of Zhang Sun aristocratic family swept away. It was a 13-year-old boy, just wearing an ordinary yellow ochre cloth. It was just Divine Sea Realm cultivation base. The flying dragonfly relies on a purple jade lotus flower. Judging from the somewhat incomprehensible look of Zhang Sun Jing, this boy is not a member of them, but the cultivator of the cultivation base is a great treasure, and a fly to 2 divine mystic cultivators and 1. The pile of golden core great treasure cultivator. This scene is really too strange. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 954. Chapter 954 Fire Domain God King. Who is here, behind Zhang Sun Jing, a young cultivator great treasure of a 3-armed Rakshasa phantom from spiritual chi condense. Everyone can see that a teenager with only the Divine Sea Realm cultivation base has a great treasure in the great treasure of the Divine Mystic great treasure. It is definitely a bit tricky, and the boy's body is extremely strong. It is the best fire spirit root natural talent, and there is definitely a background for great treasure. But a Divine Sea Realm cultivator, in this case, is naturally not qualified to let Divine Mystic great treasure be able to ask for surging sound. I am the 7th disciple Luo Feng under the Fire Domain God King. I am here to take the Fire Domain God King shapeshift great art. 13 The 4-year-old boy stopped and ordered the remaining 2 salamander kings. The boy's forehead is wide and his lips are extremely thin. At the moment, facing the face of Zhang Sunjing and Wang Wui's divine light shapeshift great art, the face is extremely proud. Fire Domain God King? What is the origin? With one such disciple, would you like to let other great treasure forces and divine mystic cultivator give way? The 13-year-old boy said this, and everyone can be completely shocked. Fire Domain God King, the 4 Saint King sect cultivators, such as the Golden Emperor, are all awkward and clearly know what the Fire Domain God King looks like. What is the origin of the guy who is called Fire Domain God King, and the tone is so amazing? Wei Suo and Ling Longtian were also very shocked. The boy's tone was too great treasure, and the identity of the Fire Domain God King was amazing. Fire Domain God King? Although I have heard of his name, he said that shapeshift great art is too much to put our lonely cold continent cultivator in the eye. At this time, Zhang Sunjing's face sank and chilled, and a smashing killing intent clung to the boy, Luo Feng. Listen to Zhang Sunjing's words, this Fire Domain God King is not the continent of lonely cold cultivator, a lonely of continent cold cultivator, casually dispatched a disciple, only divine sea realm cultivation base, ran to lonely cold continent, to let all great treasure forces and great treasure can make way. This indeed to the entire great treasure Lu cultivation world is a kind of contempt. Zhang Sunjing attitude that if the young man named Luo Feng no other said shapeshift great art, he would direct his hand, and Feng the young man named Luo to the world, and tell Fire Domain God King his attitude directly. My teacher condensed a shapeshift great art character. He asked me to pass it on to all the great treasures of lonely cold continent. If anyone can break it, he can resist the intimidation of himself when he recognizes it. The great treasure can be completely ignored. His words. Otherwise, if it blocks me, he will definitely visit the mountain gate within 2 months. In front of Zhang Sunjing's heaven's might, only the Luo Feng of the divine sea realm cultivation base was unaffected, and he said so proudly. The voice just fell, a little red light spurted out of his mouth, put a great treasure in front of him, but formed a square red character. This square red character is only a small slap, great treasure, and the naked body is red. No other rune is seen. Only a flame in the center is beating, but this slap is a small treasure of the treasure, and the front is hundreds of feet. The air, but it is completely burned, forming a sea of fire, a terrifying inner chi, very majestic, like a giant treasure suddenly emerged from the void, making everyone discolored. So terrifying inner chi. Fire Domain God King has officially broken into the divine mystic fifth layer. This red character was formed, and the 4 cultivators of the Golden King and other Saint King sect were all fiercely hit. What are the origins of fellow deist and Fire Domain God King? After Wei Suo and Ling Longtian looked at each other, Wei Suo immediately looked at the Golden Lady and others. Fire Domain God King is the sect master of Firefield Cave. Firefield Cave is a great sect in our ancient fire domain of flowing fire continent. It is rarely seen in the world, but decades ago, Huang Jinzong's sect master, the divine lord of the divine mystic second layer late stage cultivation base was killed by the Fire Domain God King in the ancient fire domain. The Fire Domain God King is said to be the cultivation base of the divine mystic fourth layer. After the Golden Queen saw Wei Suo, she replied, the light is the cultivation base of the divine mystic fourth layer. It is impossible to trust the great treasure. Ling Longtian's eyes have an undetectable golden light flashing. This person may have really broken through the cultivation base of the divine mystic fifth layer. Cloud Spirit Continent has Wang Wei, originally the achievement and virtue sect master is not bad. Lonely Cold Continent has Yehua Yingtian, Zhang Sunjing level of great treasure. Yehua aristocratic family and Zhang Sun aristocratic family may have deeper pressure box bottom thing. Flowing Fire Continent a Saint King sect comes out with 2 divine mystic great treasures, and there is a Fire Domain God King that is likely to be in the divine mystic fifth layer. It seems that our heavenly profound continent's cultivation world strength is instead the worst. Wei Suo couldn't help but sound transmission. Heavenly profound continent is not out of you, damn swindler. Ling Longtian gave a look at Wei Suo. Although the cultivation base of divine mystic fifth layer is already scary in the current cultivation world, it is not enough to scare her hands and feet to the well-informed Ling Longtian. Yeah, and Steel Teeth younger sister, you are not bad either, so that the 2 of us are also the singular pride of heavenly profound continent, which is not bad compared to these great treasures. Ling Longtian was originally trying to despise Wei Suo, but I didn't expect Wei Suo to be a dead-faced one. It made her suddenly speechless. No wonder the ancient fire domain, even old ancestor and Deo platform Sexlul and old devil are afraid to enter. Fire Domain God King hasn't heard anything for decades. This time, it's very high profile, it's very likely to be really shocking our flowing fire continent. You don't know, Lil, an old devil lost in the hands of Fire Domain God King decades ago, and he has no one at all. The Golden Queen and the hidden great treasure wearing the bronze shapeshift great art can secretly sound transmission. From the words heard by Ling Longtian, there are probably 3 super great treasures in the flowing fire continent. Saint King sect is one of them, but fire, the power of Domain God King, seems to be far from what the Golden Lady said. It seems that the Fire Domain God King has not been out of the way for decades, but all the top-level great treasures of the flowing fire continent are secretly afraid, and they dare not provoke. Yes, let me teach you. At this time, Wang Wei's divine light shapeshift great art in the void was already moving, and the golden sword in his hand went forward. Wang Wei is the great treasure of the real divine mystic 4th layer. The identity is extremely detached. I am afraid that the entire cloud spirit continent is no one is his opponent. It is the existence of the supreme in the cultivation world. He is so supreme. The character, how could you endure another divine mystic great treasure, let him retreat with a disicle. At this time, although he was only a divine mark shapeshift great art, it was not the real body, but the golden sword in his hand seemed to seal his divine might, which was displayed by his divine mark shapeshift great art. At that time, Lu Jinai's powerful energy to the golden sword of the enemy Wei Suo, at least great treasure several times. The golden sword took out a golden divine domain and instantly drowned the fascinating Luo Feng and the red charm. OM. It seems that everything in the golden divine domain seems to have disappeared, but the golden divine light is constantly falling apart, like a world disappears. A circle of red divine splendor shattered everything, as the same behemoth swelled in the golden divine domain. Oh! One of the many golden core great treasure cultivators on the side of Zhang Sunjing was almost stunned by the terrifying inner chi, and the golden sword in the hands of Wang Wei, including the entire divine mark shapeshift great art, collapsed instantly. Countless golden streamers. In the sky, like a light rain, a red divine splendor is recycled, and it becomes very clear in the void. The handsome Luo Feng, who looks extremely proud, and the red shapeshift great art in front of him are safe and sound. But Wang Wei's divine light shapeshift great art turned out to be the red flag of the counter-attack divine might completely destroyed. Pu. Zhang Sunjing did not say anything. God Lust was very cold, a smoldering spirit spurted out of his mouth, and merged into a yellow light great treasure hand he made, and then, Huang great treasure the hand went straight down to Luo Feng. OM. The red shapeshift great art character suspended in the air once again emits red divine splendor, a hot burning of origin chi, so that the white snow white butt within a few hundred centuries has melted, as if one side of the fire domain evolved in the air. Ka. Huang's great treasure was completely broken, and numerous light lines spread across the air. There were countless weird shapeshift great art sounds roaring in the air. Zhang Sunjing, who had not stepped back with Yehua Yingtian before, stepped back and forth in the void. Every step back, there was a great treasure of blood, which turned into a terrifying powerful energy in front. It's really just using the condense of its own shapeshift great art field. This fire domain God King's cultivation base does go to the divine mystic 5th layer, but it should only go to the middle stage of the divine mystic 5th layer. Otherwise, the powerful energy produced by Zhang Sunjing will collapse directly, and no shapeshift great art will approach the shapeshift great art. Ling Longtian sound transmission to Wei Suo's ear. With a shapeshift great art symbol that condenses out, can you make a great treasure of divine mystic 3rd layer without shapeshift great art? Wei Suo took a deep breath. This shapeshift great art character is also equivalent to divine mystic 5th layer great treasure. The complete divine domain can break this shapeshift great art character, and it will be able to break the defense of the divine mystic great treasure. Ling Longtian looked at Wei Suo. What are you going to do now? Go, look at the lust situation. After rolling back and vomiting blood, Zhang Sunjing waved his hand. All the people in Zhang Sun aristocratic family were discolored. They didn't dare to stay, and they immediately followed Zhang Sunjing. Under Wei Suo's eyes flash, it is not much to say, first to the direction of the boy. What you will do? When the Golden Queen saw the action of Wei Suo, she immediately changed her face and made a surging sound. I have to at least inquire about it, talk about it, get the news of the Fire Domain God King. If you are afraid of the Fire Domain God King, you don't have to follow. Wei Suo looked at the Golden Emperor and others and deliberately said. We don't have to anger the power of the Fire Domain God King, but it's really a good idea to look at the cultivation base and divine ability of the Fire Domain God King. What are the plans? The 4 cultivators of Saint King sect immediately sneaked in the sound transmission, and after a violent flash, they nodded and followed up. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 955. Chapter 955 shows up. Fellow deist is flowing fire continent. If it is a bad thing with Fire Domain God King intercourse, I am afraid there will be a lot of inconvenience. I will try my words and test it later. Wei Suo flew toward the place where Luo Feng was, and said to the 4 cultivators of Saint King sect, working with fellow deists to help see if the people of Xuanhuan aristocratic family and the people of Zhang Sun aristocratic family really leave, are there other cultivators staying nearby? The people of Xuanhuan aristocratic family have really left, and the people of Zhang Sun aristocratic family are constantly moving away from this secret place, not like a fake. The black and white eyeball shapeshift great art great treasure has been retracted by the cultivator wearing the bright red essence metal shapeshift great art, but after looking around, it immediately sent out such a surging sound. It is obvious that he is now using this shapeshift great art great treasure, and indeed can see thousands of miles away. Wei Suo and Ling Longtian didn't think there was anything wrong with the answer given to him. Because no matter which side of the force is very afraid of other forces, Zhang Sun aristocratic family this side, Wang Wei divine mark shapeshift great art body including his divine might all the golden swords are destroyed, Zhang Sunjing is clearly also a body to test Fire Domain God King's powerful energy, even suffered a heavy blow. Under such lust conditions, Zhang Sun aristocratic family this side naturally does not dare to stay, for fear of being surrounded by other forces. There have been so many golden core great treasure cultivators chasing this secret place, and this secret place and divine mystic great treasure can be confronted again and again. The young man in Huai is not at this secret place secret, a lot of great the treasures must have been known, just to see if there is enough strength to compete. Let this old deist go to temptation and save us from angering Fire Domain God King. We don't want to have any surging sound. Just listen. The 4 emperors, such as the Golden Emperor, secretly sounded the sound transmission of the sound, followed by Wei Suo and Ling Longtian, Long Muxing. N. The group of Wei Suo and the Golden Emperor showed their demeanor, and the breadth and power were naturally amazing. The proud boy named Luo Feng just confronted the 2 shuttered Salamander King and immediately felt Wei Suo and the Golden Lady. The change of the sky turned around and saw the escape light of Wei Suo and the Golden Emperor. Divine Mystic 5th layer initial stage, this is the cultivator's breath just after the Divine Mystic 5th layer. Hey, the current cultivation world is really gone. It's just a cultivator that has just arrived at the Divine Mystic 5th layer. It has already shaken a whole great treasure. Closer, Ling Longtian perceives the breath of the red charm floating in front of Luo Feng, sneer at saying with sound transmission. You guys. At this time, only Luo Feng of Divine Sea Realm cultivation base was the first to surging sound, and asked Wei Suo and the Golden Emperor. Only Divine Sea Realm cultivation base, I dare to be in this secret place, but also to my great treasure surging sound, there must be some origin, old ancestor, I am little extreme circle Ji Ying God Lord. Bring your enrollment to the newspaper. Wei Suo imitates the style of Ji Ying God Lord's speech, and does not know the same before pretending to make a surging sound. I am Luo Feng, the seventh brother of Fire Domain God King. I am here to take the Fire Domain God King shapeshift great art. Luo Feng's first sentence is the same as that previously mentioned by Zhang Sunjing, but the following sentence is more arrogant. My teacher condensed this shapeshift great art character and asked me to pass it to lonely cold continent. Great treasure character, if anyone can break through, can recognize his personal presence when he recognizes it, great treasure cannot listen to his words at all, otherwise if it blocks me, he will definitely visit the mountain gate within 2 months. The two divine mystic great treasures of the Zhangsun aristocratic family have already been tried, and they are all defeated. If you don't believe it, you can try it. However, these fellow deists behind you should look like the cultivator of my flowing fire continent Saint King section. They should not know the name of my master as said. Luo Feng swept the golden lady and other people behind Wei Suo and added such a sentence. Obviously, although he should have just entered the wall of the Fire Domain God King, his knowledge is not low. The origin of the Golden Emperor and others. I am really waiting for the Saint King sect cultivator, but I don't know if Fire Domain God King is sending a seed to this. After the Gold Emperor vision flickered for a moment, the surging sound said, the tone is obviously very respectful. This shapeshift great art is entirely based on origin chi condense. With the power of the Supreme Divine Domain, has the Fire Domain God King broken through the Divine Mystic fifth layer? At this moment, Wei Suo seemed to suddenly discover something new, watching the exaggerated exclamation of the red character floating in front of Luo Feng. Yes, my teacher said that your Ji Ying God Lord's divine ability is not as good as Yehua Yingtian and Zhang Sunjing, but your eyesight is good. Luo Feng heard Wei Suo's screaming surging sound, but he was very proud. My master has indeed promoted Divine Mystic 5th layer. Sure enough, I have already arrived at Divine Mystic 5th layer. The 4 cultivators of Saint King sect, including the Golden Emperor, were obviously shocked. It seems that Saint King sect and What Deo platform sect should also have no cultivator that can approach Divine Mystic 5th layer great treasure. This top-notch character is impossible in a piece of great treasure. The reaction of King Huang and others made Wei Suo immediately make such a judgment. On the other hand, he immediately put on a pair of sophisticated calculations. Even Divine Mystic 5th layer great treasure can congeal divine domain power. As long as I find a few more Divine Mystic great treasures, or if I use a few powerful shapeshift great art devices, I should be able to break them. Your master is too great for treasure. If we kill you, no one will know. Really? Luo Feng smiled disdainfully, and the red character suddenly flashed, hidden in his naked body. Immediately, his naked body became completely red, and countless red divine marks bloomed outside his body, as if he had formed a brand new shapeshift great art outfit. Shua. Luo Feng reached out and stroked, and the void in front seemed to be annihilated. The fierce darkness, divine might, burned all the air in the sky directly into fly ash, completely forming a vacuum. At least Divine Mystic second layer great treasure, a powerful energy that can be hit. My divine ability is not what you can imagine, Luo Feng sneered. I can call divine might, a part of this shapeshift great art. Even if I don't match, there aren't a few Divine Mystic great treasures. Who can stop me? And if my master divine domain crashes, it will naturally break out all counterattacks divine might. I am afraid that there are not a few people who can look at the whole world. No one can resist this against divine might. Which divine mystic great treasure can you want to challenge the majesty of my master? King Sky and other people are silent. Fire Domain God King of this kind of divine domain shapeshift great art character, then Wang Wei golden sword not no strong great treasure how much, and monstrous divine might, which seems to last a long time, shows no signs of exhaustion, from Wang Wei's divine mark shapeshift great art body and Zhang Sunjing and Fire Domain God King this way divine domain shapeshift great the lust of the art spell, this shapeshift great the divine of the art character. Might if it's a complete counterattack, I'm afraid Divine Mystic third layer's cultivator all cannot resist, all want to fall. There aren't a few cultivators of Divine Mystic second layer third layer that will spell their own fall, and they will not be able to compete with such a Divine Domain shapeshift great art. Even if an extreme Deo immortal armament is in front of you, there is no Divine Mystic great treasure that can be stupid, because such a Divine Domain shapeshift great art symbol may be just the origin chi of Fire Domain God King, and even one super sect does not cost, and it is impossible to mobilize so many Divine Mystic great treasures. A sect's Divine Mystic great treasure can want to find out for itself. If you want to be happy, but you want to pull the other giant sect's great treasure to find death together, you can't do it. This person has an ancient great treasure on his body that can accommodate the treasure receiving pocket. There are at least 200 treasure receiving pockets in his ancient great treasure, and there are many cultivator bodies. He used this shapeshift great art symbol along the way, and it seems that he has done a lot of killings. At this point, Ling Longtian's surging sound was introduced into Wei Suo's ear. It's so worthless at a young age. Can you store the ancient treasure of treasure receiving pocket? Is it the same great treasure as the great treasure? Wei Suo's is still a trepidation on the surface, but there is an undetectable flash in his eyes. Steel Teeth younger sister, you said that we are likely to defeat this Divine Domain shapeshift great art symbol. You start a blow and ignite part of the powerful energy of this Divine Domain shapeshift great art. Then I will help you with it, and you can use Immortal Tears little pot. With your Divine Mystic powerful energy, you should be able to breaking this shapeshift great art character. This Divine Domain shapeshift great art character of the Divine Mystic 5th layer is not so fascinating, and it has not been destroyed by shapeshift great art. Ling Longtian saw Wei Suo a glance, but this shapeshift great art charm after the rout of the Divine Might outbreak, but equivalent to that Divine Mystic. The 5th great treasure a blow, although under such powerful energy, the young man's what shapeshift great art device will be destroyed. There is no primordial spirit lights and other comparable to this way Divine Domain shapeshift great art characters can make the Divine Mystic great treasure can find our true identity, but this kind of powerful energy explosion, we too certainly cannot withstand. The two of us can't resist it, and with so many people, it should be enough. Wei Suo does not move the sound of the sound to Ling Longtian's ear. What do you mean? Ling Longtian brows and immediately reacts good no hesitation. After sharpening teeth, she looked at Wei Suo and said with sound transmission. Don't say anything more, or if you are angry with Fire Domain God King in the future, the consequences will be disastrous. At this moment, seeing what Wei Suo seems to want to say, the Golden Lady immediately sounded to his ear. You can't get anything else, wait for a place to kill this old deist, and don't run away. There are some things in the character like him. Well, wait until I look at my eyes, shoot them together, kill him, don't be too far away from this secret place, lest he be suspicious and consume what useful sharpshift great art. At the same time, the Golden Emperor and others are secret sound transmissions, and it has been discussed that Wei Suo will be dealt with not far from leaving this secret place. You can leave at this time. Luo Feng also looked at Wei Suo with great pride and obviously looked down on his old deist. The divine ability of Fire Domain God King is amazing, but it's still worse than my old ancestor approach. But at this time, Wei Suo suddenly called such a sentence, suddenly shot. Hong. A terrifying and grand great treasure's inner chi suddenly broke out from Wei Suo's, a round of grey-black meniscus with a suffocating killing atmosphere, instantly colliding with the red divine mark outside Luo Feng. Jiyin God Lord, are you crazy? The Golden Lady and other people suddenly erected, and all the great treasure called surging sound. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 956. Chapter 956 Killing people by knife and killing everything. Wei Suo didn't pay any attention to the Golden Emperor and others. A sparkling and translucent small jar that had a shocking fairy rhyme had been revealed by Ling Longtian, and then intercourse went to Wei Suo's. At the same time, Ling Longtian swept forward more than 10 feet and was in front of Wei Suo's. Boom! The virtual vibration, Wei Suo's lightning waning moon crashed directly, like God King roaring, and an amazing dazzling red divine splendor instantly pressed back into Ling Longtian. Ah! Ling Longtian's body glowed with a layer of grey light, but in an instant it was hit by a surging sound scream, and it flew out. There were many cracks on the body, and the naked body seemed to be cracking. Who? It is able to withstand the powerful energy of the divine domain shapeshift great art. The Golden Emperor and others saw this scene, and they suddenly flashed such thoughts in their minds. Ah! But at this time, the Golden Emperor and others were so stunned that Wei Suo was so solemn, and the divine mystic breath suddenly exploded to the extreme, as a star suddenly exploded. On the immortal tear's little pot, there is a crystal that annihilates everything. If there is a great treasure, the shapeshift great art is playing. A round of grey-black crescent moon like the ancient magic moon and a white Sumi divine mountain of the Pangret treasure show up simultaneously, a heaven-shaking white water wave, a shot of a common-looking dead wood, and a simultaneous shot. Wei Suo instantly broke out of his strong battle strength and hit Luo Feng. This is the real immortal artifact. How could there be a real immortal artifact in his hand? How could he possibly play such two Dao technique shapeshift great art at the same time? How could he break out of such battle strength, so that the divine domain shapeshift great art will collapse completely, and countering divine might will destroy everything? This person is completely crazy. At this moment, the Golden Emperor, the hidden divine mystic great treasure in the bronze essence metal shapeshift great art, the bright red essence metal shapeshift great art and the 4 Saint King sect wearing the black iron shapeshift great art the cultivator, all changed color completely, and each thought snarled fiercely. Ah, ah, ah. But these people have no other choice at all. They are all very screaming of the great treasure, and they are desperately trying to make their own strong battle strength. Ka! As if one side of the world suddenly burst, the divine mystic scent that scorned in the red divine mark of Luo Feng suddenly disappeared, and instantly became a violent breath. After the partial offset of divine might by Ling Longtian, under the strong blow of Wei Suo, all the red divine mark suddenly burst and turned into a red divine fire ocean, the air in front of the void instantly it burned out and became a vacuum. In front of everyone, there was only a red eye, and divine might, who wiped everything, was instantly pressed. Ah! Wearing a bright red essence metal shapeshift great art suit and 2 Saint King sect cultivators wearing a black iron shapeshift great art suit, a scent of rain and a blue divine light broke down, just emitting a surging sound. Called, the two were overwhelmed by the red that was wiped out. Ah! Jiyan God Lord, you crazy! The hidden divine mystic great treasure in the bronze essence metal shapeshift great art can be called a great treasure. He has a triangular colorful giant jade in front of him, and an amber divine might he plays. In front of him, he formed a unique glass circle, and there seemed to be countless glazed flowers in the inside. But in the twinkling of an eye, this side of the glass was instantly disintegrated. Red divine splendor cracked on him, tearing off the brilliance of his essence metal shapeshift great art, and constantly crushing divine mystic from his body. Origin Chi, his body naked body is going backwards, pieces of flesh and blood and Origin Chi oscillated and burned to fly ash. What the hell are you? The real immortal artifact is already in your hands. The Golden Prince looked at Wei Suo and made a fierce roar. The countless gold and silver color divine mark emerged from her celestial spirit, forming numerous peacock feather-like brilliance around her around the body. It turned out to temporarily resist the red divine light that wiped out everything. But she was also pressed into the air by the shapeshift great art field of the divine mystic 5th layer, with no shapeshift great art. Ah! Just in the twinkling of an eye, she issued a magnificent treasure called, and the divine mark outside the gold and silver color began to crack down. A divine mystic origin chi kept spewing out from her body. But no shapeshift great art prevented the cracking of divine mark outside. You are crazy. She only has a hysterical sound of surging sound great treasure, because on the other side, Wei Suo keeps the crystal clear immortal tears little pot in front of him, and Wei Suo will Yahwaruoxing's divine iron lotus. The battle clothes are already worn on the body. At the moment the red divine light constantly scouring up, playing crystal clear immortal tears little when the sound, although no pot great art break shapeshift immortal tears little, but also played divine iron lotus battle clothes the moon-like divine light all crumbled, a strong great treasure's powerful energy collision made Wei Suo's physical no shapeshift great art bare, non-stop great treasure mouth cough blood, naked body blood is like to spit out the general, this wink, his body also began to crack, there are cracks, fancy also to beecher bottom fall. Dang. The crystal clear immortal tears little pot vibrates again and again, drink, but when the great treasure spurted a blood again, Wei Suo issued a surging sound and a powerful energy burst out, hitting him in front. At the same time, Wei Suo, who was slightly under pressure, did not hesitate, and True Yuan, the whole body, flowed to the extreme. A round of grey-black crescent moon and a giant great treasure of white Sumi divine mountain once again manifested, shaking the world, the town in front of him. Ka. The red divine light swept in front finally broke the great treasure piece of great treasure, dang. The crystal clear immortal tears little pot was also pressed directly onto Wei Suo's, and the divine iron lotus battle clothes outside Wei Suo was destroyed. Although it was still not damaged, Wei Suo's inner body was covered with cracks. Completely cracked, the entire chest disappeared completely, and countless flesh and origin chi were turned into fly ash. Ah! Crazy! The Golden Queen gave a desperate great treasure, and all the divine mark outside her also cracked. The divine mystic origin chi of the great treasure group emerged from her naked body, and no shapeshift great art blocked the red divine light. Rolling. Shua. She was also drowned by the red divine light. Pa. The remaining two salamander kings were also affected. One of the salamander king's monster core and the naked body exploded. Only the remaining divine mystic level salamander king was able to withstand the red divine light's broken Yue, a white mouth. Blood, like magma, rushes out of the two heads of the salamander king, which even brings out the debris of the internal organs. Although Wei Suo is as miserable as the ancient emperor corpse, but in the air is a tyrannical, lively essence from the primordial beginning divine root, allowing his naked body to recover at an alarming rate. Well, hasn't it fallen yet? She is already in the naked body to engrave divine marks. Wei Suo glanced at a glance, saw within a radius of hundreds of miles of ancient trees and white snow has completely disappeared, the ground is flying ash, but Luo and Feng King Saint three other people have become sect wreckage, the rear was beaten fly out of the Ling Longtian is flying back, and King Sky fell in Wei Suo near the distance of the 1,000 feet, shapeshift great art clothing has been completely broken, the flesh has been completely like rags, full of holes, but has not completely fallen, but also angry. Wei Suo saw at first glance that the gold and silver color divine mark shines in the naked body of the golden lady, making her body resemble a completely broken shapeshift great art great treasure. Shua. Wei Suo reached out and pointed the immortal tears little pot to Ling Longtian and let Ling Longtian put it away, so that the breath of this extreme Dao immortal armament was not perceived. Immediately, he did not have any stop, and first plundered above the golden lady. Who are you? Actually so vicious, use us to help you withstand divine domain powerful energy. The real immortal artifact is in your hands. Don't be proud, I am Saint King Sect not let you off, Fire Domain God King not let you off. I can't think of my golden prince's life, I have only counted people, and today I was calculated by you. But before Wei Suo spoke, the Golden Emperor had already issued a series of low roar, Pa. I didn't want to hear Wei Suo's answer. After issuing this surging sound, her entire divine consciousness burst instantly, and the whole head was completely turned into a fly ash. Secret place shapeshift great art, With self-destructive divine consciousness, Ling Longtian flew back. She did not look very miserable, only a lot of cracks on her body, is recovering quickly. This secret place shapeshift great art, even if she used her shapeshift great art to control her, there is no shapeshift great art to stop her from killing. It seems that even if the sex high-level cultivator is caught, no shapeshift great art forces them to ask for useful things. While this person is a female cultivator, they are so determined, but they want to kill us first, and we can't blame us. At least we can be sure that there should be no problem with my current mortal body cultivation base, to engrave divine marks. Wei Suo frowned, divine consciousness swept away, and all the shapeshift great art pieces on the 4 cultivators of Saint King sect were all broken, and the treasure receiving pocket was gone, even the body of the golden lady. The gold and silver color divine marks are already disappearing, without any valuable things. Shua. After the vision flickers slightly, Wei Suo played a brilliance and completely destroyed the wreckage of the 4 cultivators. This is the ancient great treasure that can accommodate the treasure receiving pocket. When it was swept above the wreckage of Luo Feng, both Wei Suo and Ling Longtian were both eyes flash. This only divine sea realm cultivation base, but by fire domain God King powerful energy, all the way pillage, even divine mystic great treasury cannot look at the juvenile, the body and all the rest of the shapeshift great art device has also disappeared, but a heap of ashes, but there is a grey 7-story great treasure tower of ancient great treasure, looks like a grey ceramic material, but inside but faint reveal a share of the atmosphere of emptiness, is obviously a void and a great treasure class of ancient great treasure. This is the ancient mustard treasure pagoda. Although it is somewhat damaged, it can be used. Ling Longtian took this thing directly into his hand. After speaking this to Wei Suo, it was a direct vision flickered, carefully examining whether this thing left any restrictions. Shua. Wei Suo nodded and sacrificed the ancient map of the young man in Huai, going to the young man in Huai and the salamander king who had already lost the weight. H.